G'day, my name's Sam King, or Mr. King to you. I'm going to be your woodwork teacher. Yep, I'm going back to my old job of being a woodwork teacher just to show you how to build this greenhouse. And if you see, we've already made another one on how to make a small papaya hut, and the next one after that will be to how to make this greenhouse over here. But anyway, look, I've just started this. I've got the plans. If you want to start making one of these, you can go run along with me. Just race out and buy the timber that we've got. So it looks like this from the front and from the side, the other side, and from the rear. You can see there are different kind of openings, different ways of ventilating and cooling, and it's very important that you look at our other video to find out which ones of the different types of vents and windows and things you should choose to suit what you're growing. You notice here, we've got this one here is 6 meters long, and that's really convenient because you don't have to join it. But for you, that might be difficult or impossible because your local timber merchant, some of them only stock the standard lengths 4.8 or something. They don't stock 6 meters plus. You may not have the trailer capability of being able to take a piece of wood that's that long. So just do what you can. If you have to join it, that's all right. Right, and I'll tell you something for nothing. So even before you cut your bit of wood, see, I've mitered mine because I think it locks them in better and it looks nicer, but it doesn't really matter. If it's easy for you to cut them just square, then go for it. But even before I cut it, I hold them up because, whoops, hard to see there. You can see that it's slightly rounded, only a little bit. You call that a cup. And so I have the rounds on the outside, and then if it's going to round, if it's going to bend way or another, see that one there? I have the round on the outside, and then up and down too, like if it goes like that or like that, so you have the rounds on the outside. Alright, so now it's 6:30 really. So I'll quickly whack up the base around here and put some concrete in a couple of holes, just a little bit of concrete. So that means tomorrow I can build up. So I'll get into that now. Now for the foundations, there are two ways of going about it. You've got the plans there, and you've seen where I've suggested those posts should be. But if you've got a different size door or something that you've got in mind, you shift those and you note where those are going to be at the beginning. One method is you can mark out, for that plan, mark out where all the posts are going to go. You can do that by putting a string line, a little wee peg and a peg and a peg, and putting the marking that out. And if you're pegging it out, make sure it is square. So if you start off with a line here and you go off like this, make sure the distance in between this side and that side, they're parallel, and also that it's square. Every corner is square, and you can check that by checking the diagonals. The diagonal there should be the same as the diagonal there. I found it easier just to get the base, cut the pieces and join those together, and on the ground move them until they're square. Check them, put a square into the corner, check the diagonals, check they're roughly straight. If they're bending off all around the place, you can put some little temporary pegs or something, you know, to have them running straight. Make sure it's all square, and that's where it's going. And from there you can measure and you can position where the posts are going to go. And you'll know that, like, if the side's there and the post is out here, wherever that post is, the centre of that post is where the centre of your hole is in every case. From the centre you mark out the size of that post. If I've got some spray dazzle stuff, I just mark out where that hole's going. You might want to chip it with a spade, whatever, and then just pull the whole base to the side a little bit. A couple of people to help you because you can't reach that far. And then dig the holes to the correct depths. Put a little bit of concrete in the bottom, about 3 inches, 75 mils. Wait till that hardens. Won't take long if you use the quick drying cement. Put it back where it was, check it up for square, and then start building up. We're going well, because I haven't even started, and Ben's brought us over an afternoon snack. Some grummy charmer, the black one. It's a good size. Sometimes they're a lot bigger than that, but anyway, It's a good snack anyway. And that's the yellow one, which are a bit more rare. A couple of sandpaper figs in there. Nice little wee snack. Oh no, I'll come back to this. Better get some work done. Time flies. It's just before 8 o'clock. Hardly done anything. So many distractions around here. 3 or 4 phone calls. And we've had to stop to get rid of these sugar cane that have been overcrowded. And I always stick this one out a little bit more. So as you screw it in, see that? One white. And that's flush as a dunny. And then if you find that push the other one out, then you do that one, you see. But whatever. And if it's only 150 by 25s or 28s, just 3 screws will be enough. You put one in here if you wanted to. Good enough for the likes of you lot. There it is. It's done. So, screwed up all 4 corners. What? Yeah, I'm just videoing. Anyway, but it's getting dark. We're going to go and have a feed. What we were supposed to do is cut some holes and down a little bit of depth, because that anchors the whole thing down so it's not going to blow off. I said blow off in the wind. And yep, but we'd dig the hole, but only put maybe a couple of inches, 50 mils or something of concrete at first. And that means we can go through and put all the posts in. They'll be sitting on the concrete, and up we go. And then we can fill in the extra height to the concrete. You'll see that later on. And I just put it so it looks like it's roughly square. And then I put a, oh, it was bending out a bit, so I put that fork or just a fork there, and so it's roughly straight. And then I put the square on it. Square! And look at that. Terrible, eh? That's no good. And what you find, say for example, if it was 2 millimeters right on the point there, if it was 2 millimeters out, that's over the distance of that, 1/2 meter. That means you'd be, you know, a fair bit out there. So get it roughly right, but don't get it exactly right, because that would just be getting too carried away. You can also check the diagonals. You can do 3, 4, 5 different ways of checking it if you want to get really, really square. But if these are roughly straight down here and down there, and they sort of are, and you can put a big square on it. If you've got a really, if you've got a sheet of ply hanging around, that'll be really square, wouldn't it? Just chuck the sheet of ply onto there, and you can use that as a big square. Anyway, going to leave this for today. Going to go and have some tea. There we go. I've just put a little bit of concrete, probably about 2 or 3 inches down each of the holes, especially the corner ones, these ones too. And I just used a little wee piece of wood to go like this, so that it's nice and flat, so when you put a post on there, and if you move it sideways, it doesn't sort of go up and down and everywhere, and it helps to align things up. So, and I used fast setting concrete, and that'll be ready to carry on soon. So I'll just, when I do, or you'll see, I'll just put this back in the correct place, square it all up, and then start putting the frame up and add some concrete onto the corner ones. Okay, got it? For you a bit. Okay, where's it got to go? More your way. Hey? Your way. Oh, yeah, just put it in. Good enough to light shoot on. Righto then, here we go. Did it? Hey?
Hit it a tiny bit.
Did it?
Yeah, go for it.
Now don't be moving it your end. Right. And that's far too good. That's how we do it if we're doing it for somebody else, not us. I've had some questions from people, can you come and stick a greenhouse up for us? And well, the answer to that is another question. Hands up, those who want to go around building greenhouses for other people. Oh, look at where my hands are. It's fairly straight. We'll do the middle one first and bring it up and eye it up so that it's straight, and then we can just, the other ones you can just measure them down and plonk them in. So I'm guessing that middle one's probably about 5-6 millimeters too low. Off the top of there, which will be up and down all over the coat, and to there. Yeah, I might not be good. Look at that, it's pretty good. Hey Neville, don't forget the level. Introducing you to a couple of tools. This is Neville, and that's just Nev. Okay, you lift it up a bit higher. A bit high there, never mind, doesn't matter. Now we can just measure the other ones. Oh, I'll eye this through. I did pull it up a little bit, that's the way. Yep, I just pulled it up a little bit and it looks alright. Hey?
Screw that
Oh
in.
yeah, why not? Good. Levelling up, plumbing up the middle one, and this one could be off. Probably is. I mean, it was sitting there roughly right. I'm getting too carried away. There was only 3 mils out. That's like half a really big fly poo. I'm not going to let you see what this looks like, it's just too good. Hey Ben,
Yep.
just note that down for a policy, eh? Just wherever possible, just make small mistakes when you're making greenhouses,
Yeah.
just to make sure that nobody ever asks us to build one for them. You can do it for yourself. Oh, look at that. We're trying to build this thing, and along comes the fire department. You're trying to put it out. Jeepers. You can see the lighting and the sun's changed. I have to go off and all the time to do other bits and pieces. But actually, also I wanted to check out because the angle that I was using for 15 degrees going up there was wrong. And I just lazily, instead of calculating it properly or looking at my roofing square, went onto the internet and printed out the 15 degrees triangle. And then on the job I could see that it was actually not going in the right direction, so I went onto my drawing program and put out a 15 degrees angle, and that's different to that one. The correct angle is sort of, that says that, the correct is more like that kind of thing. Oh, a bit off anyway. But I'll print out, I'll give you a 15 degrees thing that you can print out. And another one. You gonna stay there? Okay, just to evaluate the first part, so I went and found myself a ladder. That's about, I don't know, 7 foot, 8 foot ladder, ready to do this tall part. That's pretty tall. That's 2.9 or something, to the nearly 3 meters tall, up to that bit there. And I've only got one of those ladders. What am I going to do? I can probably put a chock, just temporarily put a chock up underneath here, and then just put the bit of 6x1 up there, walk up the ladder up to there, screw it on, come back, screw this end, that'll do, and then I'll be able to do the other ones. So there's no point in putting a great big scaffolding up there, because all I've got to do is just attach those ones there, and then I can, with the ladder, just one by one, I can attach the rafters going down. So that's pretty easy. So you can see how, you know, like just even with 3x2s, 6x1 up the top. Now see that piece of brilliance, something screwed onto something that's screwed onto something, and that means I can just poke one end up into there, and it hopefully should sit in the right place, as long as I don't let it go down there, otherwise that will be wrong and bad. And then I can just walk up the ladder at the wrong end, as long as I don't pull it this way so it comes out, should be right. I've had to do that sort of thing a few times before, so doing it on my own, but then Ben just turns up. Problem is, I only got one ladder, so we'll work it out with a pencil. Okay, I'll take this down here.
Tie it up to the post.
Hey?
Tie it up to the post.
Tie up there.
The ladder.
It's a bit precarious. Bit of a Shirley.
I've got to run out of here.
No, just stay down that end. Stay down that end.
Yeah, sticking me out about 6 inches there.
Okay, just tap it with the spade. Okay,
1 inch to go.
Whoop, look. Cup's the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yep. Tell the wheel. 3, 4, 22. Compare that with what it's supposed to be. Once you have those posts in, to go through and put the fascia boards on. Now you'll notice the way I've done mine, I've got them coming out a little bit past the post to do a mitre. You don't have to do that. If you want to, you can. It makes it look tidy, but what for? It's still going to be strong, and that fancy joint is going to be covered by plastic. Waste of time. So just go through and measure from the outside of the post to the outside of the post, measure that, cut that fascia, and that one there, and that one up the top should be the same. If it's slightly different, don't worry about it, you know. And so you just place those on there and have it so that fascia runs just to the outside of the post and doesn't stick out any further, because that means once you've put those two fascia boards on, then you can just hold a piece of hold the barge board that's going up there and one up the far end, just hold it where it's going, and from behind mark it, and from behind mark that one. That means you don't have to worry about transferring the correct angles, because you know where it's going and you just mark behind it, that's the correct angle. Especially seeing as that one on the end isn't even braced at the moment, so the way it's sitting, the way I measured that rafter up the end there, the far one, was it 3, 4, 22, and it's supposed to be 3/4/16. Gee, that's only 6 mils out. But it won't be by the time we finished it, it'll be perfect. Just set it up where this other one was, so I can screw that up. If you know what I mean, Governor. Okay, now instead of trying to measure it there and everything like that, it can be a bit of a pain. One way of doing it because I haven't marked where it's going on the top, but I've got to mark where it's going on the bottom. I just said bottom. Come on. So what I've done, the angle's got to go up top, but I'll put the angle on the bottom. It's sitting here like that. That's the right place in the bottom, I can see the mark. I'm using Neville to find the position, which is also called navigating. Right, that's where it's going to be. And that's where I cut it, square. I just turn it end for end and she'll be no worries. I made it even higher. I just pull this up. Right, just go into the corner.
Here.
Right on the corner. Yep. It's a bit extra, so I'll look like a cow trying to shoot a gun. Should be doing that on a saw stool. Otherwise we'll send you to Borstal. Okay, you give us that. And that. And right, don't move it. No jiggling. I'll put some more in later on. Good enough for the likes of you lot. This one's got a bit of a twist in it. $33.65. And so I don't have to measure it again. I've gone off the 100 mark. I made a mark at 100 and then I added 100 on over there. So I can mark both ones. Piggy went to market and then he said, okay, measure twice, cut once, just to that mark there. So 3,365. Yes, that's it. I should just go ahead and cut a whole lot and then put them all up in one go. Hear the funny noise this is making. I've had this for about 3 or 4 decades. Whenever it goes like that, it just needs new bearings. It's not a rubbishy one where you throw it away at the end. On this side of the post, go underneath it for the moment. You know where it's going?
Yeah.
You'll soon find out anyway. Now the main thing is now, don't try and position it perfectly. Just hold it steady, okay? Otherwise I won't get my end in. How's your coffee? Have you got a nice cake with you? Because you could have posted us some. Round side up. And I put a arrow so I don't have to check again if I forget. Get up here. But it's easier to measure it off the 100, so I'm putting a mark at 100. And now I'm adding on 100, so it's 3, 4, 6, 5. And just you wait. What's the chance? One of these will be cut wrong. Yeah, it's good to have one of these. Otherwise, in the plans, there's a piece of paper that you can just cut the line and you've got the angle. Needs a new blade. I was just showing you my best side there. And don't spin them around the wrong way because yeah, that's going to be your end, that one. You don't reckon you can go and get us a drink? Something nice and cold? Not alcoholic, just, you know, like a nice lemonade. I can't see anyone moving over there, Ben. We might have to get our own. You see what happens when you're up a ladder, you're supposed to have somebody holding it, and just to be more efficient I sort of go up there and do the work and then I come down and hold it myself. But I don't need to now because I've finished the job. Are you ready? How does that go? Hey?
Within about 1 millimetre.
Oh. That means at this stage you've got the beams around the outside, the fascia and barges around the outside, and you've got all the posts in place. Do a double check to make sure every post on the corner is plumb this way and that way too. That's the difference between the word plumb and level. People say level up the post. No, level is this. That's plumb if it's like that. So you make sure you plumb up each of the 4 corners, double check them, because the next step you're going to fit in the other bits and pieces like the braces and facings. But you've got to think ahead a little bit, because when you put the plastic on, you've got to use those strips to sort of screw and tack it, and you hold the plastic in. There are other ways of attaching plastic, but that's the best and cheapest way in this situation. I know you can get wiggle wire, but the smaller you go for a greenhouse, the per square metre, the more of that wiggle wire type of system that you have to use, and it becomes sort of a bit too expensive and unnecessary and a bit silly. So so the best thing to do is, out of every single piece of wood that you've got that's 150 by 25 or 100 by 25, anything that's those flat boards that are like 25 millimeters thick, you just rip a strip, one strip off each piece, and then you can use that later on, put that aside, use that later on for attaching the plastic. Now this is one way of setting it up, so you can sort of measure, you know, I'm going to go 15 or 16, so I'll just put a measurement like that. That way it's a lot cheaper and it's the right sort of size and it does the job. Or otherwise, because it can be quite hard finding pieces of wood that are the right sort of size, that are small. A lot of places don't have them, and if they are, it's like a stupid price per metre. So if you do it that way, it's cheap. You can either do it by using a skill saw, running a skill saw along it. Best to use the guide, and so you can, you know, go like that, or you can just run it over a saw bench. And you cut those strips so they end up about 15, 16, 17 wide by that 25. Easy peasy. If you want to get carried away, you can paint those if you're painting everything else as well. But if you don't want to, then don't do it. You might have other jobs coming up, and you know, by having a bench saw, this one here only costs $450, $420. That's not too bad, because my other one finally gave up, and so that was pretty cheap. And if you went out and bought those special strips to put the plastic, like specialised ones, that would be half the cost of that saw bench just to buy those. So it's not a bad investment, and you'll use it. Otherwise, just a skill saw would do it. No worries at all. When I was a young fella, I built a few whole houses with a skill saw and simple tools. I didn't have a saw bench until I'd built several houses. As far as facings and nogs are concerned, look at this plan here. That's to suit this sort of the roll up and all the different things that we have inside here, the vents and so on. But if you're going to have a different setup, like if you're not going to have a vent, maybe you're going to have two windows at the back that are opening windows with the beeswax things. Maybe you're going to have nothing up there. Maybe you're not going to have a roller. Whatever you're going to have, make sure you set up the nogs and the facings just where you want them. Cut them and put them on. Oh, don't forget, like say for example, that vent over there, the measurement of it is 1 metre by 1 metre. But you always add on something like 10 millimetres overall, so you've got 5 extra here, 5 extra there. You still try and make it so that it's plumb and those nogs are level, but it's just that when you're fitting it in there, sometimes it has to shift a little bit, you know, because things might not be perfect with your framing, and you want to be able to move it, because some of those things they don't operate. That one there, if you forced it into a opening that was slightly wrong, and it couldn't be square, then those louvers won't open properly. They might sort of get caught. That thing is always here at this time of the day. But I'll keep on ringing them up and telling them, hey, you know, don't go over here when I'm doing my videos.